What if your anxiety isn't getting worse, but your brain is being quietly trained to stay anxious every single day by things you don't even notice? I need you to stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I'm about to share has changed the lives of hundreds of patients I've worked with over the last 15 years as a clinical psychologist specializing in anxiety and the modern nervous system. I've sat across from CEOs who couldn't sleep, mothers who cried in their cars before walking into their own homes, young men who said, "Doctor, I have everything I'm supposed to want, and I still feel like I'm drowning." And almost every single one of them said the same thing. "I've tried everything. Nothing works. What is wrong with me?" Nothing is wrong with you. Let me say that again because I need you to actually hear it. Nothing is wrong with you. Your brain is not broken. You are not weak. You are not failing.
You are living inside an environment your nervous system was never designed to survive. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why your anxiety won't go away, no matter how many breathing exercises or meditation apps or wellness routines you try. There are 3 hidden saboteurs quietly rewiring your brain right now. Most therapists don't talk about them. Most doctors don't see them. And the third one, the one I'll reveal at the end, is the most dangerous because it's the one almost nobody recognizes until it's already taken over their entire life. So if you've ever woken up exhausted before your day even began, if your chest feels tight for no reason, if your mind races at 2 a.m. replaying conversations from 3 years ago, this video is for you. Stay with me, because by the end, you're going to understand your own mind in a way you never have before. Let me start with something I want you to really sit with. The human brain, the one inside your skull right now, is essentially the same brain our ancestors had 40,000 years ago. It was built for a slow world, a quiet world, a world of sunrises and sunsets, of small tribes and predictable patterns, a world where danger came suddenly, was dealt with, and then ended. Your brain was designed for moments of stress, followed by long, long periods of calm. But look at the world you actually live in. From the second you open your eyes, your phone is already vibrating. Emails, news alerts, group chats, a headline about a war on the other side of the world, a message from your boss at 7 a.m., a reminder of a bill you forgot, a notification that someone you barely know is engaged, pregnant, moving to Paris. Before your feet have even touched the floor, your brain has already processed more emotional information than your great-grandparents processed in a week. And here's what nobody tells you. Your nervous system cannot distinguish between a saber-toothed tiger and a passive-aggressive email. To your amygdala, the small almond-shaped alarm system deep in your brain, a threat is a threat. It floods your body with cortisol. It speeds up your heart. It tightens your muscles. It prepares you to run, to fight, to survive. And then, the moment that passes, another notification, another alert, another threat. You are living in a state of constant low-grade emergency, and your brain is adapting to it. That's the part most people miss. Your brain is learning. It's becoming better and better at being anxious, more efficient, more automatic, until anxiety stops feeling like a reaction and starts feeling like a personality. This is what I call the modern anxious brain. And it's why traditional advice, just relax, just breathe, just think positive, fails so many of you. Because you're not dealing with a thought problem. You're dealing with a nervous system that has been physically rewired. Now let me show you the 3 saboteurs doing the rewiring. The first saboteur is something you do every single day, and you probably don't even think of it as harmful. In fact, you probably think of it as relaxing. It's called overstimulation. I'm not talking about working too hard. I'm talking about the constant, low-level flood of input your brain receives from the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep. Scrolling, tapping, switching tabs, half watching a show while answering texts while thinking about tomorrow. We call this multitasking. Your brain calls it torture. Here's what's happening neurologically. Every time you switch your attention, even for a second, your brain releases a small spike of cortisol and a small hit of dopamine. The cortisol keeps you alert. The dopamine keeps you reaching for more. And over hours, days, years, this creates what researchers now call attentional fatigue, a state where your brain is so used to being stimulated that silence itself starts to feel uncomfortable, threatening even. Have you noticed that? The moment you sit down with nothing to do, your hand reaches for your phone. The moment a conversation pauses, you check a screen. The moment you lie down to sleep, your mind suddenly fills with every fear you've been outrunning all day. That's not weakness. That's your brain, addicted to stimulation, panicking when it doesn't get its next hit. I had a patient, I'll call her Sarah, 34 years old, marketing executive. She came to me convinced she had a serious anxiety disorder. She told me her heart raced constantly. She felt on edge from morning to night. She had tried medication, therapy, yoga, journaling. Nothing helped. I asked her one question. Sarah, how many hours a day are you on a screen? She laughed and said, I don't know, 12? 14? I asked her to do one thing. For 2 weeks, no screens for the first hour of the morning and the last hour of the night. That's it. No app, no miracle cure. Just 2 hours of stillness, bookending her day. She came back 2 weeks later and cried in my office. Not because she was sad, because for the first time in 7 years, she had felt her own thoughts again. Her anxiety hadn't disappeared, but it had loosened its grip, because her brain finally had room to breathe. That's the power of removing one saboteur, and we've only just begun. Now stay with me, because the second saboteur is even more invisible than the first. And I would bet almost everything I have that you're doing it right now. Or you did it within the last hour. The second saboteur is doom scrolling and chronic threat exposure. Here's the thing no one explains. Your brain has a region called the amygdala, and one of its primary jobs is to scan your environment for danger. For thousands of years, that meant scanning the horizon, the bushes, the faces around you. Today, it scans your screen, and every single headline, every video of suffering, every comment section war, every tragedy from a country you'll never visit, your amygdala processes all of it as if it's happening to you, right now, in your living room. Studies have shown that even 15 minutes of negative news consumption can elevate cortisol levels for hours afterward. Hours from 15 minutes. And most of us are not consuming 15 minutes. We're consuming 2, 3, 4 hours a day of fear, outrage, comparison, and catastrophe. Your brain doesn't know that the war is far away. It doesn't know that the stranger crying on your screen isn't your sister. It only knows danger, danger, danger. And it responds the way it was designed to respond, by staying ready, by staying tense, by staying anxious. This is why so many of you wake up exhausted. You didn't run a marathon. You didn't fight a battle, but your nervous system spent the entire night recovering from a day of perceived threats. Your sleep is shallow. Your dreams are restless. You open your eyes and you're already tired. And here's the cruelest part. Your brain starts to crave it because cortisol and dopamine and adrenaline, they're chemicals, and the brain that gets used to them starts to feel flat without them. So you pick up the phone again, you check the news again, you scroll again, not because you want to, because something in you needs to. This is what we call hypervigilance, a nervous system stuck in survival mode. And it doesn't just affect your mood, it affects your digestion, your hormones, your immune system, your relationships, your ability to feel joy. I want you to think about this for a moment. When was the last time you felt truly bored? Not anxious, not numb, not distracted, just bored, just quiet inside. For most of you, you can't remember, and that's not a coincidence. That's the modern world doing exactly what it was designed to do, keeping your attention captured, your nervous system activated, and your inner stillness just out of reach. But here's the hopeful part. The brain that learned to be anxious can learn to be calm. We'll get to exactly how. But first, the third saboteur. And this one is different. Because this is the one almost nobody talks about. The one that's hiding in plain sight. The one that quietly destroys more nervous systems than the other two combined. Are you ready? The third saboteur is emotional suppression and chronic, unprocessed stress. Let me explain what I mean. Because this isn't about big traumas. This is about the small, constant emotional weight you carry every day and never put down, the frustration you swallow in a meeting, the grief you don't have time to feel, the fear you don't admit even to yourself, the loneliness you cover with productivity, the resentment you tell yourself isn't a big deal, the exhaustion you push through because someone needs you, the disappointment you smile past. Every single one of those emotions is data, a signal, a message from your nervous system saying something here needs attention. And when you ignore those signals, day after day, year after year, they don't disappear. They go underground. They get stored in your body, in your shoulders, in your jaw, in your chest, in that tight, restless feeling that follows you everywhere and you can't quite name. This is what neuroscientists now understand. Unprocessed emotion becomes chronic physiological stress. Your body keeps the score, as the saying goes. And eventually, your brain starts treating that stored stress as your baseline, as normal, as who you are. So you wake up anxious and you don't know why. You feel a wave of dread for no reason. You cry at a commercial and feel embarrassed. You snap at someone you love and hate yourself for it. You feel like you're falling apart and you can't figure out the cause. The cause is years, maybe decades, of feelings you never gave yourself permission to feel. I had a patient, a man in his 50s, successful, married, 2 kids in college. He came to me because he was having panic attacks for the first time in his life. He couldn't understand it. "I have no reason to feel this way," he kept saying. "My life is good." We talked for weeks, and eventually he mentioned, almost in passing, that his father had died 18 months earlier. He hadn't cried at the funeral. He hadn't taken a single day off work. He had, in his words, handled it. I asked him gently, "When did you grieve?" He looked at me, and he didn't have an answer. Because he hadn't. His body had been carrying 18 months of grief with nowhere to put it, and his nervous system had finally said, "Enough." This is the third saboteur. The grief you never gave yourself, the anger you never expressed, the exhaustion you never honored, the fear you never spoke out loud. It doesn't just sit there quietly. It rewires you. It tightens you. It makes your brain interpret the world as dangerous because something inside you is in pain and you've stopped listening. And this is why so many of you feel like your anxiety has no source. It's not that there's no source. It's that the source is so old and so layered and so familiar that you've stopped seeing it. Now, here's where everything changes. Because I would not be telling you any of this if I didn't believe, with everything I have learned in 15 years of clinical work, that your brain can heal. There's a word I want you to learn: neuroplasticity. It means your brain is not fixed. It is not stuck. It is not a finished thing. Every single day, your brain is being shaped by what you do, what you watch, what you feel, what you allow, what you protect yourself from. The same brain that learned to be anxious can learn to be calm. The same nervous system that got rewired by stress can be rewired by safety. But it doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. So here's what I want you to start doing. Not all at once, not perfectly. Just begin. Protect the first hour of your morning. No phone, no news, no noise. Just you in your own mind before the world starts demanding things from you. Even 15 minutes of this will start to teach your brain what stillness feels like again. Choose your inputs the way you choose your food. Every video, every headline, every conversation is going into your nervous system. Ask yourself, is this nourishing me or is this poisoning me? You don't have to be uninformed. You just have to stop drinking from a fire hose of fear. Let yourself feel. I know this one is hard, but every emotion you allow yourself to actually feel is one less emotion stored in your body. Cry when you need to cry. Rest when you need to rest. Be angry when you need to be angry. Your feelings are not your enemy. They are messengers asking to be heard. And finally, give your nervous system moments of true safety every single day. Not productivity, not entertainment, safety. A walk without your phone, a meal eaten slowly, a long exhale, a few minutes of warmth from someone who loves you. Your brain needs to remember what calm feels like, because right now, it has forgotten. I know everything I've shared today might feel like a lot, but I want you to leave this video with one thing above all else. Your anxiety is not who you are. It is what your brain has learned in a world that has been quietly teaching it the wrong lessons. And what has been learned can be unlearned. What has been wired can be rewired. What has been forgotten can be remembered. You are not broken. You are not too far gone. You are not the only one feeling this way. There are millions of us, millions, quietly carrying the same exhausted nervous systems through the same overstimulating world, wondering why we can't seem to feel okay anymore. But you are not powerless. You never were. The moment you understand what's happening inside you, you stop being its victim. You start becoming its author. And one small decision at a time, one quiet morning, one phone put down, one feeling honored, one breath taken slowly, you begin to take your mind back. So here's what I want you to do right now, before this video ends. If anything I said today reached you, if you felt yourself recognized in any of these words, I want you to comment 3 simple words. I'm taking my mind back. Type it. Mean it. Let it be the first quiet promise you make to yourself. And if you want to keep learning how to protect your brain from the chaos of modern life, how to calm a nervous system that has forgotten what peace feels like, how to truly heal, not just cope, but heal, then subscribe to this channel. Because we are just getting started. And I have so much more I want to share with you. You came here looking for answers. I hope, in some small way, you found a few. Take care of your mind. It has been carrying you for so long. It's time someone started carrying it. I'll see you in the next one.